This is a story about Scarlet Hollow and how our protagonist will survive. Our name is Zamna, and we live in the city of Goonville. We are a she, her. And our two traits will be keen eye and mystical. You jolt awake as the bus hits a particularly nasty bump. You feel like you'd only just managed to start drifting off. And now, here you are, awake again and still exhausted. For a moment, you're hazy on the details of where exactly here is, confusing this bus with the many others that came before it. But as your mind continues to reassert its existence in the waking world, the past few days come back into focus. The long-lost cousin, the bad news, the 26 hours of bus rides with countless late-night stops and seedy depots that would have felt unsafe even in the middle of the day. You wouldn't normally find yourself traveling like this, but your cousin bought the tickets. The funeral of Pearl and Scarlet, your cousin's mother and your aunt, seemed like something you shouldn't ignore, even considering your own late mother's rocky relationship with this side of the family. But it was also more than just the social pressure of the invitation that pushed you to accept it. Something has been tugging you back to this place your entire life. There was no choice to be made, because you were always going to find your way here. So when your cousin called, you knew what had to be done. And now, the end of your long journey is in sight. You're almost in Scarlet Hollow.
So anyway, as I was saying.
Oh no, he's still here. He's been sitting next to you for the past 5 hours, talking at you without pause. You're not sure he even stopped when you started to doze off. At first, you thought he was just being friendly, but that was several hours of one-sided conversation ago.
I was up in Maryland, looking for work, but mostly messing around because I was a dumb teen. Me and my buddies were doing our usual prank stuff, you know, pushing joggers into the harbor, that sort of thing.
Are you serious? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I was such a shithead back then. I'm still a bit of a shithead, but hey, po body's perfect. So, this girl comes up to us, swinging a purse, yelling about how she was gonna call the cops or whatever. It was hilarious. She actually hit my friend, and he said it hurt a lot. So I guess she really was mad, and not just playing. But she kept swinging, and soon enough, she lost her balance and fell into the harbor all on her own. We didn't even have to push her. We had a good laugh and fished her out, and her phone got soaked, so she couldn't call the cops on us. We wound up hanging out all day. She kind of became my girlfriend after that, and we've been on and off for about a year, so it's pretty serious. Though, about 5 months ago, she tried to break up with me, like, for real. And jeez, you ever get so mad you just want to, like, kill somebody?
never felt that way about another person, and I find it alarming that you have.
Eh, you're young. You'll get it when somebody tries to break your heart one day. It changes the person. Makes them think things they never thought they could. I honestly could have killed that woman. Anyway, she's giving birth to our son right now, so I'm trying to get up to Virginia to be there for it. But I don't know if I'm like into that stuff, so I might just wind up on a bus to New York or something instead. I've always wanted to go there.
You were so worked up by the thought of losing her that you threatened to kill her, but now that she's giving birth to a child you created together, you're planning on running off? Even if you love her, think about whether that love is strong enough that you'd be able to handle raising a kid together. Think about how your actions are going to impact his life and whether removing yourself would be better for him in the long run.
Huh. Yeah, good stuff to think about. Anyways, where'd you say you were headed?
Home, I think. I've never been. But I felt it like a call at the back of my mind for as long as I can remember. Some things can only be put off for so long. The young man anxiously shifts in his seat. For one perceptible moment, it's his turn to feel uncomfortable before he catches himself and heartedly laughs.
Oh, you must be talking about Scarlet Hollow, right? Or the Holler, as they call it in the mountains. That's the only other stop until this bus turns around. So if you aren't getting off at my stop, you must be heading up that way. Almost nobody ever goes there. I'm usually alone on the bus by now. Though, actually, I had a couple of buddies who went up there to work in the mine. There's a coal mine up in the holler, you see. And there's always a job listing or two on the boards around here. I've never wanted to do that kind of thing myself. I like my lungs the way they are. Thanks, but my buddies got desperate enough to try it. I haven't heard from them in a while. Now that I think about it, I should see if they're on Facebook. See how they're doing up there. I hope they didn't die.
He looks back at his phone for once focused on something other than you.
Oh, this is me. It was lovely meeting you. Hope you don't get too bored without me around to talk to. Here, I have something for you.
The stranger rifles through his pack before presenting you with a dripping bag of peanuts.
They're boiled peanuts. I got them at a gas station a few buses back. I noticed you haven't eaten much, so I figured you could use them more than me. Plus, they dripped all over my bag, so I don't want to carry them anymore.
You take the boiled peanuts. Nice! I love boiled peanuts.
Glad they're going to a good home. And with that, I leave you. Safe travels, friend.
And just like that, the stranger's gone. Maybe you can finally get some sleep.
Next stop, Scarlet Hollow. End of the line.
Almost there. The bus finally comes to a stop, its brakes squealing as it deposits you in front of the Scarlet Hollow bus station. The sign at least reads bus station, but calling it that feels disingenuous. At best, it's a kiosk. Though for a small town like this, you're amazed there's so much as a road, let alone a bus that drives on it every week. The driver quickly shuts the doors behind you and starts the engine, kicking up dust clouds as he pulls away, eager to leave you in this place behind. Hey, Zamnam. You instantly recognize the worn young woman from the few public photos on her Facebook page. She's your cousin, Tabitha, and she looks annoyed to be here. We're going to offer her boiled peanuts as a condolence. Want some peanuts? I got 'em from the bus. You hold out the dripping bag, offering it to your cousin. What? Put those away. Why would I want your wet peanuts? Now, come on, let's go. I don't want to spend any more time down here than I have to. Your cousin turns and motions to an old BMW parked near the bus kiosk. You follow her, clambering into the dusty relic. It doesn't take much driving before the only signs of civilization are the car you're in and the road you're on. Tabitha maintains an icy silence as she focuses on the road. How are you holding up? Fine. Are you sure? You seem tense. You know you can talk to me, right? I went through something similar when my own mom passed. She tenses up even more at the mention of your mom before letting out a heavy sigh. Maybe it's a sore spot for her. You quickly apologize. I'm sorry. I know that's probably not what you're looking to hear right now. Look, I appreciate your concern, but I'm fine, really. So, the funeral. It's on Sunday, right? Yep, like I told you. Since I'm here, do you need any help planning? I know this stuff isn't easy. It's actually been fine. Just needed the coffin and somebody to dig a hole. I can't believe we've never actually met before this. You have your mom to thank for that. Or had, I guess. You can feel the same careless cruelty in Tabitha's words that your mother would use when she talked about Pearl Ann and the old Scarlets. The wound that tore your family apart runs deep enough that it bled through the generations. Is there bad blood between us? You don't know me, and I don't know what my mom's problem was with this side of the family. Your cousin stares straight ahead, her expression icy. You decide to sit in silence with your cousin as the car eases up the steep mountain road. And here it is, the Scarlet Estate. Though it's seen better days, its crumbling elegance is not lost on you. Someone used to cramped apartments in gray cities. Your mother told you about this place many times before she passed, always with an anger burning beneath her words. The faded majesty you once imagined doesn't quite compare with what's in front of you. A jarring blend of opulence and ruin. As you stare at it perched on the crumbling cliffside, you can't help but feel like it's something that should have been left to rot a long, long time ago. You're hit with a blast of dusty air as you step across the threshold and into the foyer. Everything in this room has been here for much longer than you've been alive. Each object cemented in place with layers of dust and cobwebs. You can hear doors creak on their hinges and the aches and moans of ancient floorboards as the house itself sways in the wind. Welcome to our family's humble estate. Unfortunately, due to the current state of the house,
Only a few rooms will be safely accessible during your stay. I wouldn't go wandering anywhere else if you value your limbs. The floors have been known to give out. If you know what's good for you, you'll stick to your room, your bathroom, and the kitchen. And hallways, I guess. But only the hallways you need to use to get to those places. I'll show you around so you know where it's safe to walk. You can leave your bags here for the time being. This place is falling apart. Oh, so you're the expert on how to take care of a mansion all of a sudden? It's not as easy as you think, okay? It takes a lot of time and resources. What you see right now is still livable, so mind your own damn business. Let's get this tour over with. Follow me. You put your bags down and follow Tabitha through a long, dusty hallway. She delicately steps over holes and tears in the floor, and you do your best to trace her steps. Kitchen. On Wednesdays, a woman from town comes in and does the cleaning. Her name is Janie. I wouldn't recommend socializing with her. She'll talk your ear off. If you need any food, there's fixins for peanut butter and jelly. Don't touch my mac and cheese or my ice cream. Those are off limits. Oh, you can also access the garden through here, but it's pretty wild, so I wouldn't if I were you. What if I want ice cream? Then you can buy yourself some at the general store. If you touch my stash, I will know, and there will be consequences. But I'm your guest. Aren't you supposed to take care of me? I am. Hence the PB&J fixins. That'll get you through the week. You don't need me to buy you ice cream, so I don't have to. You said someone actually cleans this place? Have you ever actually seen that happen? Or does that person just say they did it and leave? Oh, I keep a close watch on Janie. She cleans. Maybe it's not up to your sleek city standards, but this is an old house in the country. There's a level of dirt and grime you have to learn to live with. Do you actually expect me to eat here? If it bothers you that much, just eat in your room or go to the diner in the town. Eat outside for all I care. You're free to do as you please. I'm not the one who's supposed to make sure this place is livable. That's what I paid Janie for. Take it up with her. Awesome. I love PB&J. How'd you know it was one of my favorites? That smile can't be real. I didn't, but good for you. All right, what's next on the tour? Bathroom. Follow me. Great. It's been hours since I've gone. As the two of you leave the kitchen, you pass by a tuxedo cat sitting on the countertop. Is that your cat? What's its name? Frou Frou. Do not try to pet her. If she wants to be pet, she'll let you know. Trust me, I'm good with animals. Who's a good kitty? You decide to ignore Tabitha's advice and pet Frou Frou anyways. She bites you hard and hisses violently. What did I just tell you? Come on, let's continue the tour.
You once again follow Tabitha through a long, dusty hallway. Maybe after a few nights, it'll get easier to navigate these spaces. But for the time being, you feel lucky to have not fallen through the floors. Guest bathroom. Not much to show. It's a bathroom. I'll wait outside. Do what you must if you must. It is a wretched bathroom. Piles of junk sit untouched in the corners of the room, and mystery stains the paint floors. Who exactly uses this bathroom? Guests? Are you sure this toilet works? Yes. Why wouldn't it? The water bills get paid. Therefore, the toilet works. Now do your business so we can move on. But it's so crusty. It's fine. Don't be so dramatic. This is the worst bathroom I've ever seen. You can practically hear Tabitha roll her eyes at you from the other side of the bathroom wall. It'd be a lot nicer if Janie didn't have a policy about bathrooms. She cleans mine, but refuses to do more than that. So you can blame her for the state of the place. Janie isn't the only person capable of cleaning things. Tabitha scoffs from outside of the room. Hurry up and do your business so we can move on with our lives. Bugs skitter from the bowl as you lift the seat. You aren't desperate enough for this. You know, on second thought, I don't think I need to go. You might as well try since we're here. Is there another bathroom I could use? There's my bathroom, and there's my departed mother's, but this one is the guest bathroom, so you should get used to using it. Nah, I'm good. You leave the bathroom to rejoin your cousin and finish the tour. You still have to go, but it can wait until later. Maybe you'll sneak out to the garden. Next up, guest bedroom. Last stop on the tour. Follow me. You and Tabitha briefly return to the foyer before climbing the stairs and reaching the guest room. This is where you'll be staying. The linens are fresh. I had Janie wash them last week. I had to endure a half-hour rant about her kid to get her to do it. So you better be grateful. An unmistakable stain coats this room. Someone has died here. No, people have died in here. The closet is full of old family stuff, so you can't hang your clothes up, but you can use the dresser. It should be empty. What's with all the boxes? Old family stuff. What kind of family stuff? Unimportant family stuff? People have died here, haven't they? When? This house is almost 150 years old. Obviously, people have died here. Who used to sleep here? Like I said, this house is almost 150 years old. Many, many people have slept here. And now you'll sleep here.
carrying on the fine tradition of bedrooms being slept in. What a dump. I hate it. A dump? This is a historic landmark you're staying in for free. City folk really are rude. Each and every piece of furniture in this room is a genuine antique, handed down through the family for generations. Sorry if it's not the flimsy IKEA McFurniture you're used to. You frankly don't deserve to be sleeping here if you ask me. But my mother wouldn't want me turning you out onto the street, so here we are. Lucky for you, I have a good enough sense of common decency to continue to host you rather than throw you out on the streets. I guess I'll start to get settled. Follow me, I'll take you back to the foyer so you can collect your belongings. This concludes our tour. I'm afraid I must return to my duties, so you'll have to entertain yourself for the rest of the day. Don't expect to see much of me. You know, we don't have to inherit our parents' bad blood. We can start fresh, now that it's just us. Look, I'm sorry I've been testy since you've gotten here, but you aren't exactly one to talk. Clearly, you and I have very different opinions on hospitality. Maybe we can start fresh tonight. Just stay out of my hair until then, okay? I have work to do. What kind of work do you do? I've run the coal mine, same as every Scarlet who came before me. Except for you and your mom. It requires a lot of time and concentration. So I'd appreciate it if you didn't keep me for long. I didn't know we owned a coal mine. We don't own the coal mine. I own the coal mine. Your side of the family forfeited any claim to it years ago. Can I come watch? What? No! The mine is dangerous. Can't babysit you and do my job. Running a coal mine has got to be one of the most ethically and physically vile jobs on the planet. You know, Zamnom, I didn't wake up one morning and decide I wanted to do this. It's a job, and it needs doing. And if it doesn't get done, the people living in that town out there have nothing. Nothing! Not all of us get to grow up in Goonville. Not all of us get to have the luxury of choice. So watch your mouth. I'm not going to apologize for calling you out on exploiting the working class to enrich yourself while suffocating the planet. Maybe they don't have a choice, but you, living in this enormous estate with your polluted fortune, do. I don't have the time or energy to put up with this right now. I'm leaving for work and will not be back until much later tonight. Hopefully, by then, you'll have given some thought to what it means to be civil, or we're going to be in for a long week together. Your cousin storms off in a huff and slams the door behind her. And now it's just you. You and the sprawling, decrepit estate. With Tabitha gone, there's no one stopping you from going into the forbidden wings of the estate. Except for the locks and chains, sealing them shut. Now that your cousin is gone, the aches and pains of your journey sink into your bones. You stumble back up the stairs to your room, suitcase in tow, eager to unwind before you face the rest of the day. You stand at the entrance to your room. You can only imagine how beautiful the garden must have been in its heyday. If you owned this place, you'd totally get out there with a shovel, some gardening gloves, and whip it into shape. You'd go out and pull weeds, chop trees, carve topiaries, and do whatever you needed to do to return it to its former glory. And once it was all done, you'd sit by the fountain, which of course would have a little goldfish in it, and drink a floral tea while enjoying the birdsong. Yeah, you definitely do that. Just not right now. This must be an older relative of yours, judging by the dates on the inscription. You've never heard of her, but you'd barely heard anything about your aunt and cousin until a week ago. So, that's not really a surprise. Maybe you could ask Tabitha about this. Mary Belle Scarlet. The next time you see her. That is, if she's actually in the mood for conversation. You can see why your cousin said you should put your clothes in the dresser instead of this closet. There must be decades of family history stacked up in here. Of course! You're sharing a room with the creepy doll. You pick it up to examine it more closely. Its foot reads, Property of Alexandra. No need to carry this around with you. You close the closet behind you. You drag your suitcase over to the dresser and open the bottom drawer. An opossum lurks within. It is quiet, but angry. You hold out your still dripping bag of boiled peanuts. The possum hisses in disgust, stiffens, and begins to drool, feigning death. You close the drawer. Might as well leave it be. You open the top drawer next. It's empty. As good a place as you'll find to put your clothes. Based on the state of the house, you wonder if you'd have been better off keeping your clothes in your nice, clean bag. But there's no going back now. You immediately collapse onto the bed. You're tired enough that being alone in a strange new place won't stop you from passing out. Or so you thought. You cough as a small cloud of dust rises up from the mattress. These sheets might be fresh, but everything beneath them might have been around to see the dawn of civilization. You try to settle in, but the bed is lumpy in strange places, and you can feel the springs pressing through the fabric. You might be tired,
but you're far from tired enough to get in more than a few minutes of uncomfortable napping. You might be tired, but you're far from tired enough to get in more than a few minutes of uncomfortable napping. Doesn't seem like there's much else for you to do here right now. You haven't had anything to eat all day. The only things louder than your stomach right now are the creaks and moans of this ancient place. A PB&J sounds exactly what you need to take on the rest of the day. You head to the kitchen. You're back in the kitchen, ready to craft a beautiful peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's a daunting task, given the state of the place, but the aggressive growls of your stomach outweigh your fear of food poisoning. To get started, you'll probably need to find some peanut butter, some jelly, bread, a plate, and a knife. The cat hisses as you draw near, but remains firmly in place. This is clearly Frou Frou's spot on the counter. You put out your hand in an attempt to pet Frou Frou. She bites you viciously. Honestly, what were you expecting? The cat emits a low growl as you cautiously back away. As you approach the fridge, your eyes catch a note taped to the door reading, "Janie, stay out," in all caps. Below it, in separate handwriting, are the words, "Okie dokie." You open the fridge. You already feel a deep urge to wash your hands, even though you have yet to touch anything other than the handle. You know you probably shouldn't, but a part of you has to know how old that mayonnaise is. You pick up the jar, its label flaking in your hand. It expired 10 years ago. This jar of mayonnaise is old enough to graduate the 5th grade. Best to put it back and forget you ever saw it. Why did you do that? What were you expecting? This takeout container is disgusting beyond words. A liquefied mess, wholly congealed in its styrofoam shell. You can't even tell what it used to be. This substance doesn't just smell bad, it smells ancient. What is wrong with me? What kind of horrible goblin would do this? You think to yourself as you dip your hands into the goop. It's thicker than expected, almost spongy. You scoop some up into your wretched claw of a hand and slowly bring it towards your mouth, allowing its musk to permeate your senses before the slime fills your mouth. It tastes like rot, like the smell of decaying mulch and burning leaves and fish heads festering on the beach. It feels even worse, like your mouth is full of slugs. You can almost feel it writhing in there, though perhaps that's just your own tongue convulsing in disgust at what you've done. You swallow the slime. You've done it, and there's no going back now. It slid down your throat like a mass of wriggling worms. Your gag reflex tries to reject it one final time before it passes into your stomach. But your will is stronger. A layer of waxy residue now coats the inside of your mouth and throat. and your teeth squeak with the slippery film, making it impossible to forget what you've done. You have a feeling that the consequences for this action will be severe, a problem for future you to worry about. Tabitha explicitly told you not to do this. You think to yourself as you reach for a pint of banana chocolate chunk. She'll be really mad if she finds out. Your conscience warns you as you take a scoop straight from the pint and shove it into your mouth. Before you know it, half the container is empty. There's only one way to fix this. Though you're already a little full, you dive back into the ice cream until the entire pint is empty. You then squash the container into a ball, trying to make it as unrecognizable as possible before jamming it as far down into the trash bin as you can. Out of sight, out of mind. You return to the fridge, your guilt already subsiding. You reach for one of the unopened jars of grape jelly, carefully checking its expiration date. You breathe a sigh of relief when you realize it's recent. This was either purchased specifically for you, or jelly is one of the few things in this kitchen Tabitha actually uses. All you need now is a plate, a knife, bread, and some peanut butter. Better close this fridge and keep looking. You return to the kitchen, closing the fridge behind you. This cabinet must be where Tabitha keeps the dishware, and, oddly enough, the utensils. It reads, I was blown away at Blowing Rock, North Carolina. So your aunt and cousin actually traveled sometimes? Even if it was only a few hours from the estate. Maybe you can route your return trip through Blowing Rock. Might be nice to see the local sights before heading home. It reads, I survived Deb's 50th. Your aunt's name was Pearl Ann, so this wasn't from her 50th. From the few stories you'd heard from your mom, Pearl Ann wasn't the type to have kitschy friends who gave out themed shot glasses at their birthday parties. Maybe it belongs to Janie. You imagine she might need an alcoholic beverage to get through cleaning this place, especially with Tabitha's sour face peering over her shoulder. You reach for the bowl, but as you pull it down, a blend of vinegar and dead moths splashes onto you, immediately staining your shirt. On the back of the bowl is a note that reads, Moth trap, do not touch. Whoops. Your shirt is now unpleasantly wet. You'll probably change into something clean before you leave the house. You grab a plate and a butter knife. All you need now is peanut butter and some bread. You close the cabinet and look back to the rest of the kitchen. This garden was reclaimed by the wilderness long ago. It might not be very safe, but who's to stop you from venturing deeper? You wander further into the garden. It's quiet out here. You head back inside and close the door behind you. Tabitha sure loves her mac and cheese. You squint into the darkness of the pantry, Behind the molded bread, a single book lies forgotten, a thin layer of dust collected on its cover. You pick it up. You flip to a bookmarked page. Both calf's brain and aspic are unappetizing enough on their own, and you can only imagine how vile the combination of the two would be. What kind of person would call this their favorite food? No wonder your mom ran far, far away from this place. You shut the book and put it back in its place. You pick up a box of Tabitha's mac and cheese. You can't say you've ever seen the brand before. Your hunger is satisfied, but you can't help but wonder what consequences might await you in the future. Staying away from the mac and cheese was one of your cousin's hard rules. She already seems to not like you. That's a problem for future you, though. Tabitha sure loves her mac and cheese. You pick up one of the non-moldy loaves of bread. Great. One step closer to a satisfying snack. All you need now is some peanut butter. The king of nut butters. And only 3% of each jar is mashed up cockroaches. This is the last ingredient you needed to make your PB&J. Time to get to work. You close the pantry door as best as you can and turn back to the rest of the kitchen. Even though you've already eaten God knows what from the fridge, your ravenous form quickly sets to work making a PB&J. A job well done. All of that hassle, and it took you less than a minute to eat. The rest of the day lies in front of you. Congratulations! You've eaten and have a full day ahead of you. What do you want to do next? There's not much left for you to do here other than head out and explore the town. You do just that. Before leaving the house, you rinse off and change into a clean shirt. You're not about to meet new people coated in vinegar and dead moths. If you had known you'd wind up having to walk all the way back to town, you probably would have just asked Tabitha to leave you at the bus stop, especially with how unhappy she seemed to see you. If only you could wipe the slate between the two of you clean and bury some of the tension. Though maybe her mother's funeral isn't the best time for something like that. Then again, maybe it's the perfect time. It's really pretty out here, but your serenity is quickly overcome by a sudden urge to puke. The slime wants out. You're not going to let this slime get the best of you, you think to yourself, as you muster up every last ounce of willpower and force it back into your guts. You're safe for now. There's no telling how long it'll last. Finally, you made it back to town. The holler, as that guy on the bus called it, has probably seen better days. It still has the feeling of an idyllic country town, but its sidewalks are cracked and many of the storefronts are boarded up, their windows dusty with age. A chill breeze sweeps down the lane, and you shudder, suddenly feeling as if you're peering into a grave. Gretchen! Come back, quit bothering. Sorry about that. Gretchen can be very slippery when she wants to be. She loves to get loose and cause havoc. The excitement of meeting this new stranger causes your stomach to churn. Once more, the slime is making its escape. I can do this all day, you think to yourself as you struggle once more to force the slime back into your stomach. You succeed, but you don't think you'll manage to pull this off again. Hey, are you okay? You don't look so great. Yep, all good here. Whew, that's good to hear. For a second there, I thought you were gonna puke on me. Anyways, I'm Stella. Nice to meet you. It's not often I see a stranger face up in the holler. Every now and then, there's a new crop of coal folks, but you don't look dusty enough for that. You aren't in town for the funeral, are you? The Scarlet funeral? You hold out the dripping bag of peanuts. It's polite to offer food in new social situations. Oh, that's really kind of you to offer, but I couldn't take your food. You should hang on to those in case you get peckish. Anyways, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that you're Tabby's cousin, right? That's the only person I can think of who would come to the town for the funeral. How's she holding up? To be honest, I've been a little worried about her, all alone up in that big house. I don't know how she's doing. The real Tabitha's buried under whatever icy front she's putting on. Whoever she is, I don't think many people get to actually see that person. She's always been a little rough around the edges, to be honest. It's always been hard to tell if that's just the way she is, or if she's just been putting on an act her whole life. To think she's been up in that old mansion all by herself. I'm glad you're here. You being in town will be probably do her good, even if she doesn't think so herself. She's really not worth your time. She's one of the rudest, angriest people I've ever met. You shouldn't worry about her. I guess we just see the world differently. I don't really think about people as individually being worthy or unworthy of my time and attention. I have enough compassion to go around, you know? Especially in a small town like this. Trust me, there's a kindness at her core, as much as she doesn't want to admit it. Oh, if you just got to town, you must be starving. I was just on my way to the diner for a coffee. They've got amazing biscuits. My treat. You turn and leave without saying another word. Okay then. I guess I'll see you around. What you find inside the elegant building is not a town hall as was suggested by the letters carved in stone out front. Instead, you find something that looks more like a library. In fact, it is a library. The air is thick with the smell of old paper and fresh coffee. A man busies himself sorting books on a mobile shelf, and a cat lounges on a book cart. There's a group of teens gathered on the stairs, not sitting in chairs despite the prevalence of empty seats, as is their custom. They glance up at you with slight annoyance, as is also their custom. but your focus can't help being drawn to a massive mural on the far wall, depicting a scene of a town of fire and a man savagely tied to what looks like a metal beam.
Hi there.
I'm Oscar. If you need any help, just let me know. The cat, too, meows at you in a seemingly warm greeting. But before you can act, your stomach starts to churn. Again, the slime refuses to be contained. You've held it back too long, and it yearns to be free with a force more powerful than your comprehension. As it barrels through your esophagus, you spot a small trash can. Aim for it as best as you can before the slime erupts from your mouth. Ugh, that's so gross. Becca, I don't think your parents would want you to be rude to strangers. Is it so wrong to think strangers shouldn't puke all over public spaces? As you gather your senses, Oscar rushes for a mop. This is humiliating. You need to do something about it. Breaking bread is the best way to right any wrong. You extend your dripping bag of savory legumes, your heartbeat growing louder as time slows down. Anybody want some peanuts? Oh my god, definitely not after you barfed. Oh no. Before anyone can say another word, you've already left. Whatever you're doing next, you are not going back to the library. At least not today. You wander into the quaint little general store. It's not as put together as some of the others you saw along your journey. It seems to reflect the state of the town, with its meager offerings of dented canned goods and neglected tourist trap trinkets. It feels like an old place that is slowly limping its way to the modern day, lagging behind by just enough to eternally unfashionable. The rundown country ambience clashes terribly with the goth woman behind the counter, who has been eyeing you with something between curiosity and dawning horror. Oh my god. She was clearly trying to say it quietly, but of course you heard her. You're the only two people here. There's also something about her that you recognize, a closeness of spirit that makes her feel familiar to you, despite the obvious fact that you've never met. Hi, are you looking for something in particular? You said, oh my god, when I walked in. Do you also know who I am? Yeah, you're Zomnom. Nobody thought you were actually gonna show up. It's like Bigfoot just walked in. I'm Kanika. Ugh. Why does everyone have to know who I am? It feels like everyone's already formed opinions of me. know exactly what you mean. Everyone here has known me since I was a baby, so it's like I'm a perpetual teenager to them. You're lucky your mom got out before you ever had to deal with that. I'd better get out too, before I become one of these old fogies sitting on her porch telling grown adults about something they did when they were 10. Doesn't sound like you're very fond of this place. No, I'm not. I spent enough time here for one lifetime, but getting out is always easier said than done. Should probably buy something while I'm here. Oh, sure. Grab a soft drink from the fridge and take it to the counter. That'll be $2, Zomna. So, what do you think of Tabitha? That depends. Are you guys friends? I don't know. She's been so mean to me. Yeah, sounds like Tabitha. Amazing that not even family is off limits for her. You might even get worse than the rest of us, judging by the kinds of things she and Pearl Ann always used to say about you. Good luck with her this week. I mean it. My aunt used to talk about me. What'd she say? If you really want to know, that you and your mom were stuck up city people who thought you were better than the town, that your mom was for having you out of wedlock, that it's good your mom left because she was going to drink away the family fortune. She would just say anything. I never believed a word of it because I heard what she always said about my family, too. And I knew nothing that came out of her mouth was worth anyone's time. I think most people in town knew that. However, Tabitha is not most people. I'm sure she believed it all. I don't envy you having to spend the whole week with someone who thinks so poorly of you. She's just genuinely difficult to be around anyway. What is there to do in town? I have a lot of time to kill. If you're looking for something exciting, you've definitely came to the wrong place. The only restaurant we have in town is the diner. The only real place to hang out is probably the library. The only restaurant we have in town is the diner. The only real place to hang out is probably the library. There's a gas station, for what that's worth. And there's a bar, but it's not exactly a place you want to go. It's a dive that's always full of minors. I'm pretty sure someone at the diner is throwing a party this weekend, in case you want to go to a weird house party with a bunch of strangers the day before a funeral. If I were you, I would just wait out the week, read a book, and hope the days pass quickly. Then go back to your life and forget you were ever here. You feel like the first normal person I've talked to. If the only other person you've met is Tabitha, anyone would seem normal. I'll take the compliment, though. How do you get away with fashion like that in a rural southern town? What? Like they're gonna try me for witchcraft? Sure, I get weird looks sometimes. There are definitely some ladies in town who have made it their job to save my soul. But there are way too many hippies in these hills for most people to be concerned about what I'm wearing. And my mom is Queen Hippie, so I'm probably the least witchy person I know. Everyone my mom talks to might as well be wearing a pointy hat and carrying a broom.
I should pay before I forget. Probably important. You hand Kanika a 5 and she returns 3 ragged singles. As is custom, the beverage is now yours.
Fare thee well, fair maiden. What did you say? Is that how they talk in Goonville these days? Uh, fare thee well yourself? Have good ones, Amnon. And you find yourself back on the empty street outside. Looks like the sun's finally starting to set. Maybe you'll see if a sleepy southern town like Scarlet Hollow has a vibrant nightlife another day. But for now, you feel ready to head back to the estate. You return to the dirt road, beginning the trek back up towards the estate. As the sun sinks deeper into the horizon, the sky is flooded with orange and pink hues, the shadows around you darkening and stretching out over the path. The mountains seem to make night come quickly here, their rounded hills blotting out the dying sun, prematurely casting the valley of Scarlet Hollow in an eerie autumn twilight. You've had a long day. Between traveling and meeting all these strangers, the dusty bed that waits you back at the estate is starting to sound. You pause mid-thought. Something is standing in the tree line, watching you, trying to be very still. It's a cat, and a very big one. There's a tension that chills you in a way that extends beyond the physical threat the creature poses. Something about the way it looks at you feels wrong, distant, like it's both looking at you and looking through you at the same time. You continue down the path towards the estate, turning as you go to maintain eye contact with the creature. Neither you nor it blink. The foliage in the tree line snaps and crunches as you walk, matching your pace. It would seem that the creature you've encountered is intent on stalking you. And then it emerges, an honest-to-goodness mountain lion, and there's something horribly wrong with it. You reflect on the tension you felt when you first caught a glimpse of it in the woods. This creature isn't just ill, something is replacing it. It takes yet another step towards you, drool leaking from its slack mouth. As you pull out your phone and hit record, the mountain lion dashes forward with a surprising speed, ears back and claws glinting. There's a heavy thump as it connects. You find yourself tumbling forward, pitching over the side of the road and rolling downhill. It's disorientating. You find it to be almost impossible to stop yourself. The incline too steep, every attempt ending in more scratches and bumps from the rough terrain of the mountainside. You finally land with the breath-stealing thump in a small copse of trees, battered and bruised, bleeding from the thorny shrubbery, but not dead. It doesn't bother trying to hide now, leaping down into the clearing with killing intent in its wide yellow eyes, ready to finish what it started. And then the evening air is pierced with the sound of a gunshot. The mountain lion is gone in a flash, leaving a thin trail of blood behind as it disappears into the dark woods beyond the path. As you gain your bearings, you realize that your beverage is gone. You must have lost it in your fall.
Damn, nearly had that thing. And I nearly had you too. Who the hell are you? And what are you doing out here? Looking to get shot?
You hold out the slippery bag in front of the old man as thanks for his saving your life. It's grown quite fragrant since you put it in your rucksack, like the scent of old beer. But you're pretty sure that's what it's supposed to smell like. Boiled peanuts? From your backpack? No, I'm all set, thank you. He looks you up and down with his good eye. Ain't you that Scarlet kid everyone's been saying wasn't gonna show? I apologize for my brusqueness. I'm sorry for you, Miss Tabitha's loss. Call me Duke. No need to thank me for saving your life. Duke seems to think for a moment, glancing up at the darkening sky. You'd better not keep walking around on your own out here. Not with that thing on the prowl. I'd hate to think anything might happen to you without me around to save your skin. I tell you what, tag along with me while I finish what we started. I'll be sure to get you home safe. I'd wager Miss Tabitha will appreciate somebody looking out for you. There's something wrong with that mountain lion. It's probably got the cancer, had all them lumps. Doesn't mean it's any less dangerous, if I had to guess. I say it's more deadly than ever now that it sees death coming for it. As you well know, when's the last time you heard of a mountain lion attacking anybody? Especially on this side of the continent. You're one of the lucky few, so don't ruin it by going off and dying alone in the woods after God did you a favor. I don't know you. Leave me alone. Oh, hush. Nobody's a stranger in the holler. And there's no way in hell I'm letting you wander off to die in the woods when I know I could be helped. I have a heart, so I'm afraid I have to insist. Come on now. Your eyes wander to Duke's gun, and then to the shadowed forest surrounding you. It looks like you don't have a choice. You reluctantly follow the armed man into the dark woods, hoping he stays true to his word and brings you back to your cousin in one piece. Before long, the sun is completely set, and the two of you find yourselves in near total darkness. Though, Duke has a flashlight, he uses it sparingly, letting you both adjust to the starlight instead. Every sound feels deafening as the two of you pick your way through the underbrush. Every snapping twig could be the deadly paws of the thing that hunted you. Every rustling leaf, the herald of a vicious attack. Though, you know deep down it's probably nothing but squirrels and shrews. Until you hear the unmistakable sound of something large, shifting among the fallen leaves. Gotcha! The old man quietly steps forward, gun held at the ready. What the hell? Duke, you scare me. What are you doing out here so late? Stella, I'd ask you the same, but I'm sure I know what has you slinking round here after dark. Do you know how close I came to just putting a hole in you? But you didn't. No harm, no foul. He's numb. Weird to see you out here so late.
Just Tabitha know you're with Duke?
Gretchen's little nose seems to pick up something she doesn't like. She thrashes in Stella's arms, whining threateningly.
Whoa, calm down, girl. You know Zomnom. I swear, it gets so hard to hold on to her when she gets like this. Sometimes it feels like she's only geriatric when she wants to be. It's all right, little lady. You're safe so long as you got your mama looking after you. Unlike you, Stella, if you decide to keep on doing whatever it is you're doing out here, I think you'll find these woods ain't agreeable tonight. Zomnom here had a run-in you wouldn't believe. So just go on home. Save all this for some other night. Wait, a run-in? What kind of run-in? Was it supernatural? Like I said, you won't believe it. Now put that dang camera away.
I don't know what this old man is on about. You can't fool me. Something's got you both shaken up.
No point in lying, Zomnom. Still's got a nose for these things.
So what was it? Was it a tall and hairy? How stinky was it? Would you describe what you saw as being a skunk-like ape?
Get that camera out my face. It weren't no ape. Only important thing is that it was sick. Sick animals are nothing to be trifled with. So if you don't want your last video to be found 20 years from now next to a pile of your bones in the den of some long dead creature, you best get out of these woods.
That would be so cool.
No, it would not. Your mom and daddy are spinning in their graves hearing talk like that. If they ain't around to stop you, then I'll take on that responsibility. Go on, get.
The old man shoos her away. Fine, fine, I'll go. Despite Stella's apparent willingness to back down, an existential dread begins to settle into your spine. Something fated has been locked in stone. Somebody here is going to die tonight. We all need to get out of the woods right now. If we don't, someone here is going to die tonight. Why even trying to warn them? Fate is fate. There is no resisting it. You know this.
Oh, you're just shook up from earlier. No one's gonna die, except Mountain Lion, of course. And Miss Richmond here, if she doesn't keep to her word.
No, I'm totally just going home, like I said.
Thanks, Duke. Later, Zomnom. Let me know if you see anything cool.
And with that, she's off. It's just you and Duke in the dark woods once again.
Damn, we've been stopped too long. Now the old hip's starting to voice its complaints. There's an overlook just up this way. Let's sit a spell. I brought a few victuals along, a few peckish.
You find your way along the narrow path and emerged on a rocky outcropping overlooking the dark forest. The sky above is smeared with stars, more than you have ever seen before. Duke interrupts the serenity of the scene with his old man grunts, folding his creaky joints as he settles in on a nearby log. He starts rustling through a small pack you hadn't noticed he was carrying, pulling out some beef jerky and a couple of beers.
At least it's a nice night, even if the circumstances leave something to be desired. Help yourself to jerky. And as for the beer, I was planning on having both cans myself. But but I suppose I can be convinced to spare one.
I'm serious about that feeling I got, dude. Something bad's going to go down tonight.
I ain't going to put stock in the superstitious whims of a stranger. Size, you had a run-in with that critter. It ain't the sort of thing a person should just let live. This goes beyond protecting my livestock now.
I didn't know there were mountain lions here.
You ask most people, there ain't. But everybody who lives deep enough in the hills has a story or two about seeing one. Not that anybody believes us. And if we don't manage to bag that son of a bitch, you'll have one of them stories too. And then you'll get the rare pleasure of telling people what you've seen with your own two eyes and never have nobody believe you.
For a moment, you think you catch something in the tree line from out of the corner of your eye, but before you can see anything, it's gone. Is it just me, or does it feel like we're being watched right now?
That's just nature. You'll get used to it.
Should you be drinking in this situation? Isn't it dangerous?
Oh, lighten up. It's just a Bud Light. It ain't moonshine. Anybody who gets drunk off a Bud Light is drinking it wrong. I find it helps keep my aim steady. Lowers the nerves just enough to shake the tremor out of my trigger hand. Maybe if you had one, it'd calm your jitters.
I kind of feel like I've been kidnapped.
Kidnapped? You're a grown adult. Last I checked, I adult napped you.
He laughs loudly at his own joke, slapping his knee.
Anyway, you'd rather I left you there to get finished off by a mountain lion?
I do apologize for spoiling your evening.
You'll be back with Miss Tabitha soon enough. Don't go telling her any tales about how I mistreated you. She'll know better.
About what you said earlier, why did everyone think I wasn't going to come for the funeral?
That'd be Miss Pearl Ann's doing. She was never very kind when talking about your side of the family. Bless her heart. God rest her soul, of course. She told everybody your side of the family had sworn off Scarlet Hollow. Everyone who lived here. There's nobody around these parts thought we'd be seeing much of you.
I was wondering, how'd you find me?
I've been on that thing's trail all day. I've got myself a personal vendetta. It's been after my chickens. I've seen her around my property a few times now. The next day, I always have a bird or two missing. Those birds is like family to me. I raised them from eggs. They know me by sight. Like I'm their daddy. So it means something to me when some creature sets their sights on my hands. That thing shoots to the top of my list of enemies. And I suppose it sees some commonalities between you and my chickens. I didn't expect to find a near stranger out there on the wrong end of that thing. But I'm glad I did for your sake.
What do you think of Tabitha? You can be honest.
You say that as if I would have a bad word to say about her.
I think she knows the value of hard work.
I think she and your whole family have been the lifeblood of this town for longer than I've been alive. And they're the whole reason any new jobs come out this way that ain't just some tourist bullcrap. We have the Scarlets to thank that this place ain't just a glorified theme park like some other towns I could name. I don't want to be a local flavor character selling my produce at some cutesy farm stand to folks up from the city who think they want homegrown goods but get nervous if they see a brown spot. So I'm grateful to Miss Tabitha, and will hear no slander to her good name. You feel so much more like the kind of person I expected to find out here. Like you really belong. You calling me a stereotype? I'm just joking. I know I picked up some habits that folks around here tend to pass around. At least I ain't on the meth. That's the next generation troubles. I just chew my tobacco and drink my beer and leave it at that. I will say, though, things ain't like they used to be around here. Kids grow up online and lose their accents 'cause they want to sound like somebody else. They move away and come back with a big head on their shoulders, talking down to their elders just 'cause they went off and got themselves some expensive degree. At least my beau is a solid mountain boy. He'll be sitting on the porch with a beer watching the sun go down over the hills every night, same as every Calloway that came before him. He knows there's no shame in the country life. So, Duke, tell me about yourself. You want to know about me? Can't say I know what there is to tell. I've got a beautiful wife, Irma, who I love to hell and back. We've got our boy, Bo, and our little farm. And our closest neighbor is that bastard Julius Tremaine. But that's neither here nor there. Tell me, what's the biggest pumpkin you've ever seen? I've never seen a pumpkin. What? They don't got pumpkins in the city? Well, then let me show you the biggest and best. She'll ruin you for any other pumpkin. None of them could hope to hold a candle. Duke pulls out his wallet, flipping it open to a photograph of a very, very large pumpkin. Big Betty, my biggest yet, me and Bo are taking her down to the fair this week, aiming to take home the blue ribbon. How'd it get so big? Patience and dedication, and a whole lot of water. Oh, and chicken muck, which of course we got plenty of. Less lately, what with the mountain lion. But even if we don't manage to track it down tonight, it don't look like that thing is long for this world. One way or another, it will soon cease to be on my list of problems. What compels you to spend time growing such a thing? Hell, I don't know. What compels anybody? Saw them big seeds in the catalog. Thought it might be something me and Bo could do together. Teach him a bit about patience and whatnot. And now it's just part of our yearly routine. How the hell are you getting that thing to the fair? Got ourselves a hay lifter. Of course, Bo was a big hill. That boy built like a bull. But then pull him on the other end of the lift as a counterweight. I ain't so to say it's easy. We lost one or two over the years from mishandling. Not showstoppers like Betty, of course, but it's still stung. Even now that we got the hang of things, it's still gonna give me a heart attack to see her lifted up and not know whether something might go wrong. Well, congrats. You have a very big pumpkin. Not very big, the biggest In North Carolina, at least. No, who knows? Maybe she'll be a record breaker. Or her daughter's after her. You just don't get it. I'd expect as much from somebody who never had to try to grow their own food. It's a show of skill, is what it is.
Seems like you and Stella go way back. What do you think of her?
What do I think? I think she's a nice young lady. She's been through a lot in her short time on this earth.
He lets a conspicuous silence fall between the two of you. That thing about her parents rolling in their graves, are they both dead?
Yes, they are. God rest their souls.
He takes a quiet, contemplative sip of beer. You seem like you have more to say about her.
Ain't my place to say.
I'll have some of that jerky.
Damn straight you will.
You take a laborious bite of the jerky, straining your jaw as it fights back. You manage to tear off a leathery piece. It's not especially flavorful, but it is very satisfying, like how you imagine old-timey war rations might taste. You open your mouth to speak, but before you get the words out, your phone buzzes in your pocket. You're getting a phone call. It's your cousin. Zomnom, where did you go? Are you dead? Can you come get me? I'm in the woods. The woods? No wonder you sound like you're calling me from inside a blender. Your reception must be terrible.
Who is that? Is that Miss Tabitha?
Look, it sounds like you already figured out that the woods are no place you want to get lost in, especially at night. Try to get back to town and I'll pick you up, okay?
You should tell her you're with old Duke. Then she'll know you're in good hands. Oh, make sure to mention how I saved your life.
There's a sound nearby, a scuffling, and then...
What in the...
I'll see you in town. You hang up the phone, interrupting Tabitha as her voice crackled some command through the bad reception. The rustling grows louder.
That must be my birdie. She's still alive.
The old man takes a step towards the tree line.
Get your thieving little hands off her.
Duke charges forward, flashlight in hand, crashing through the brush.
Damn, that thing is fast. Which way'd it go?
There is an odd sound nearby, though it isn't the sound of whatever the two of you were chasing. It's a human voice, the one you recognize immediately. It would appear that Stella didn't leave the woods after all. And it seems we found one of Duke's chickens, folks, and she's not looking good. I'm hesitant to speculate, but... Duke stops mid-stride to listen, his hearing evidently not quite as sharp as yours.
Damn it, I know that voice.
There seems to be some kind of growth. I never seen anything like it. Jeez, I hope I don't get demonetized for this.
Stella, I swear to God, didn't I tell you to go on home?
The two of you emerge into the clearing, revealing what Stella had been filming so intently. It's Birdie, her little chicken body, panting, desperate breaths as she lies in a crumpled heap at Stella's feet.
Birdie, oh no. What's happened to you, sweetheart?
Duke, I found her like this. I think there's something seriously wrong with her.
Stella, why can't you be a normal YouTuber who just talks at the camera instead of the kind that films people's dying pets? I'm not some creep or anything. It's investigative journalism. There's no point in journalizing about this. Nobody needs to see her all swollen and hurt. I'm sorry, Duke. I know how much you care about your chickens. I really didn't mean any disrespect. If you really give two shits, you'll delete that footage. Did you see the thing that got a hold of her? I sure did. I got it on camera too. I don't know what it is yet. A gnome or something? You know there ain't no such thing. There is something really wrong with all the animals we've seen tonight. No goddamn shit. It's like some kind of plague. Better not be contagious. You stoop down to look at the chicken. Its poor little chicken eyes look up at you, glazed over, but still rolling around in their sockets with unfortunate life. The wing is barely still attached, but that seems to be the least of this chicken's concerns. Whatever got a hold of her busted her wing up too, little bastard. Yeah, what a bastard. Good God. At first you thought it might have been a tumor, but this is something else. The skin is stretched taut, the growth pulsing beneath. She could still get better. Maybe she just needs that thing to pop. She'll be right as rain in a couple days. Happened to me once. There's not so much as a scar these days. I don't know. Kind of looks like there's something in there. Looking more closely at the growth, you think you can see something squirming inside. Having investigated to your heart's content, you step back and give the bird space. Do you think she's become an egg? Like one of those things is going to pop out of her? No, I refuse to entertain that notion. She ain't some kind of incubator. She just needs that thing drained. Maybe some antibiotics, that's all. Do you think we should put her down? Jesus, some knob. Something wrong with your head? We are absolutely not putting her down. We're getting her help. As you, Duke, and Stella take stock of the situation, a sound begins to wrap around you, gently at first, barely a whisper. But then, a guttural moan, and then another, and another, until suddenly you find yourself surrounded by a chorus of groaning misery. What's that sound? She starts filming again. Is there something in the woods? Come on, Birdie, let's get you home. As Duke scoops up the injured birdie, the voices in the trees intensify.
It's like you're all suddenly surrounded. The strange sounds coming closer, growing bolder. What in the hell is that? Don't you step another foot closer or I'll shoot. Don't think I won't. The man hesitates, and the thing steps forward, fixing what seemed to be its eyes on Birdie, tucked under Duke's arm. Gretchen starts making ungodly noises, screaming and howling along the din around you. You and Stella turn just in time to see another of the creatures slithering out from the bush. Gretchen's whines and barks reaching a fevered pitch. You and Stella turn just in time to see another of the creatures slithering out from the bush. Gretchen's whines and barks reaching a fevered pitch as another creature's malformed hands grasp at her. Oh my God! What's going on over there? As Duke glances back, everything seems to happen at once. A patter of unnatural feet and then chaos. Duke grapples with the thing as it grabs at his shotgun, pushing the barrel out of the way as it grasps for Birdie with oddly jointed limbs, while Stella stares in shocked silence as if paused, watching as the other creature attempts to wrestle Gretchen into the darkness, her desperate cries going unheeded. Shit! Shit! Get your grubby little hands off my bird! You rush forward, shoving the awful thing away from Duke and Birdie. Your hands collided with smooth, doughy, unstructured flesh. It feels like you've just shoved a loose bag of organs. It barely staggers back, the shove having done little more than shift the thing's attention to you. It rears back on its hind legs, its mouth opening, whispered tones sliding out alongside something sharp and unnatural. And now it lies in a heap on the ground, its malformed insides oozing out onto the dead leaves. Got him, damn thing. Gretchen! You both turn just in time to see the end of Gretchen's leash disappeared into the underbrush. Her yelps grow distant as she's dragged away. Stella wastes no time in diving after her, rushing headlong into the dark woods. Damn it, Stella! Come on, can't lose her. The two of you chase after her, following Stella in her pursuit of the thing that stole her dog. Good God, there's tons of the damn things. You and Duke push to keep pace with Stella's desperate footfalls, doing your best to ignore the sudden abundance of pale faces leering at you from the trees. What in the hell are they? Where are they coming from? His question is seemingly answered when you burst through the trees and into a clearing. Stella, too, was stopped by the sight and smell of what has been arranged here. She stands with you at its edge, overlooking the bizarre pattern of animal corpses, their rot flavoring the air. Gretchen is among them, the newest addition to the ring, lying paralyzed and whimpering under one of the creatures. Its pale, doughy form is crouched protectively over its catch. It has already started its work. Gretchen? She tries to step forward, but Duke holds her back. That's the mountain lion from before, isn't it? Jesus Christ, Zomnom, can we not talk about mountain lions right now? There's a time and a place, ma'am. This ain't either of them. Duke, give me your gun. We can't let him have Gretchen. Figures appear at the edges of the clearing. They are surrounding you. Shit! Stella turns back for a moment, her eyes first on Duke before flitting to yours. Duke, listen to her. Duke cautiously hands you the gun and you level it at Gretchen. You take a deep breath, aiming carefully. Make it count, Zomno. You pull the trigger and the shot rings out over the clearing. The creatures scatter at the sudden noise, and the three of you run as well, Duke taking his gun back from your shaken hands. The whispers of the creatures still murmur in the trees around you, following your movement. My truck's parked out on the trail. Let's get the hell out of here. Duke leads the charge back through the woods, though the creatures clearly aren't done with you. They fill the woods around the path, leaning out with grasping hands, their stares fixed on Birdie. They want Birdie, Duke. They can want what they want. It don't mean they're getting it. You make it to the road, but three of the creatures stand between you and Duke's truck. You've stolen from them, Duke. You have to give them back what's theirs. Zomnom's right, Duke. Birdie, she's part of their brood now. Is this what you want? Is this what you want, you sons of bitches? Fine. Take her. Take her and leave us be. Duke. Now, Stella, I know you got trouble with vehicles, but I won't hear any nonsense about you walking back to town, you hear? Get in the truck. You sense the slightest bit of hesitation as Stella pauses on the path next to you. Okay. You squeeze into Duke's tiny two-seater truck, tucking your legs on either side of the gear shift. Stella is quiet and stiff next to you, her shoulder rigid as she squeezes into the tiny cab. So, I guess it wasn't a mountain lion getting at your chickens. Yeah, guess no. Can't say I know what I'm supposed to do with that information, though. Suppose the boy and I are in for some long nights guarding the rest of them from them things. Hey, Stella? You good? She doesn't respond. Why so glum? I thought you wanted to find cryptids. Shouldn't you be overjoyed? She doesn't respond. That's her business. No need to go prying at a time like this. Let's focus on getting out of these woods before something else tries to come after us. He glances over to Stella, his hard face softening slightly. It'll just be a few more minutes. You'll be all right. Soon the rumble of gravel beneath the tires gives way to uneven pavement, and the truck comes to a stop in front of a small cottage. Here we are, Stella, safe and sound. You gonna be all right tonight? Yeah, of course. I'm fine. Too wound up for sleep, though. I don't know about you two, but I need answers. It's a long shot, but my friend's mom is a weird hippie lady. She knows all about local wildlife and local myths and legends. Maybe she would have some idea what those things were. I say we go over and show her what we have. You guys with me? Hell no. I'm a God-fearing man. I don't go to that witch woman for nothing. Besides, my bed is crying out to me. I need sleep before I give anything that happened tonight another thought. Only reason I'm still here is to deliver Nom Nom to Miss Tabitha, as requested. She says she'll be around here somewhere. Where have you been? Tabby, hey! Stella, I'm trying to talk to my cousin. I called you over an hour ago. How did you manage to get that lost? I'm afraid it's my fault, ma'am. The words were not as safe as they usually are, and we got ourselves a little turned around out there. But there's no need to fear. I made sure your cousin was in one piece every step of the way, despite the efforts of the local wildlife. Somnon, has this man been harassing you? He kidnapped me and marched me through the woods, and we almost got eaten by monsters. Okay, I don't think it's fair to call it kidnapping. Duke wouldn't do that kind of thing. Damn right, I saved this kid's ungrateful hide. Okay, okay, I get it. You're a hero. So clearly, my cousin can't be trusted to be alone for more than 2 seconds without adult supervision. Great. You know, Tabby, I was just suggesting we head over to Kanika's mom and ask her what she thinks we saw in the woods tonight. You should come too. Sybil? Absolutely not. It's late. I'm taking Zomnom home. Good night, Stella. And Farmer. The name's Duke, ma'am. Wait, Stella? Where's your dog? Oh, she. She's no longer with us, Miss Tabitha. Oh. She was pretty old, though, right? You knew it was coming sooner or later. Yeah. Tabitha, we really need to tell you what happened tonight. You wouldn't believe what we saw. The woods are full of these weird lumpy things. They were kind of like gnomes, but gnomes! You're right. I wouldn't believe it. So let's go ahead, skip to the part at the end where I say it was probably nothing and you're all overreacting. If you pardon the correction, ma'am, these kids are telling the honest truth. There was some strange things out there. I ain't never seen their like before. Okay, if these gnome things have you all so freaked out, don't go in the woods. Very easy. Jesus, Tabitha, she just lost her dog. Don't be a dick about it. What? You mean like tonight? A silence falls across the group. Jeez, I didn't know, okay? Look, I'm sorry. Yeah, you didn't know. But the woods are dangerous right now, Tabby. Well, all the more reason my cousin shouldn't be in them. The woods aren't my problem. And they're not your problem either, Zomnom. Now come on. I'm tired. So are you. Bedtime. Pleasure to see you as always, Miss Tabitha, and sorry for your loss. Tabitha doesn't respond as she escorts you towards her old BMW. Stella and Duke's voices fade away as you walk down the dark street with your cousin. Thankfully, there are no odd owl like voices echoing out of the woods either. The night fills with the comforting songs of crickets. You and Tabitha step into her car. It feels like a lifetime since you've been in this seat, but the truth is, it's been fewer than 12 hours. The smell inside is oddly comforting, like there's some bone deep recognition that she smells like family. Your cousin reaches for the headlights. Stop. No. You can ever so faintly make out the name tag on his jacket. Wayne. Welcome home. You're finally where you're meant to be. The figure steps out of the light, disappearing back into the darkness of the woods. His jacket said Wayne. Yeah, well, you saw him for 2 seconds. Maybe you misread it. It doesn't matter. Let's not freak out over nothing. She turns on the engine, her keys rattle, betraying the fresh tremor in her hands. She's just as nervous as you. You both ride in silence back up to the estate. The stars vaguely illuminate its hulking shape, perched on the cliffside. Despite the warm porch light, it feels even more abandoned than it did during the day, its windows dark and lifeless. Well, see you in the morning. I don't want to stay in this town. Yet, I'm sure you don't want to try to walk back down the highway. These are your options. It's only a week. Just keep your head down. Don't associate with Stella, and you'll survive. Duke didn't want to talk to that Sybil lady either. Is there something weird about her? She's a hippie, that's all. He's being sensible. You never know what's gonna come out of her mouth. I'm sure she was gonna take you all dead seriously and say she knew exactly what you saw out there and that it's some mythical creature just like Stella hoped and give you tea about it. Waste of time. Tabitha, why won't you just believe me that something weird is going on around here? Why would I believe you? I wouldn't believe a kid if they told me there was a monster in their closet. Same thing. It's not like you need to worry about it anyway. When the week is over, you won't have to concern yourself with whether or not there's something in the woods. If you really want to keep an eye on me, maybe I can go to work with you tomorrow? Here we go again. What are you trying to angle your way into the family business? The answer is no. I'm drawing a line, and you better not cross it. You sure you don't want to stay up with me for a little bit? We could talk. I've done enough talking. Good night. Tabitha doesn't so much as wave goodbye before heading up the stairs. You follow suit, climbing up the creaky stairs to your own waiting bed with its ancient, dusty sheets. As you fall into bed, you hear a familiar voice at the door. By the way, don't think I didn't notice you ate my ice cream after I specifically told you not to. Unbelievable. And then she's gone. From the relative safety of this uncomfortable bed, the events of the past evening seem like something that happened to someone else. Though, you can still clearly picture the terror you felt in those moments. For now, you're safe and you're warm. Eventually, the sun will rise and chase away the monsters and make them seem like nothing but bad dreams. Maybe tomorrow, if you're lucky, you'll wake up in the normal world and have a boring week in the mountains with your sour-faced cousin. It's a nice thought, but deep down, you can't help but worry that things will only get worse. This is the end of episode 1. Episode 2 awaits. Thank you for listening to episode 1 of Scarlet Hollow. What's in store for our protagonist? If you'd like to know, tune in for episode 2. Thank you, and have a nice day, night, evening, afternoon, time, in general. Goodbye.